right, let's get into our next discussion. Now, the National Assembly has postponed its resumption of plenary by 2 weeks.
The lawmaking body was supposed to resume on Tuesday after a 2-month recess, but that has now been shifted to October the 9th. This is contained in a statement signed by the clerk to the National Assembly, Sonny Omolori. The ruling APC has been asking Senate President Bukola Saraki to reconvene the Assembly, but supporters of the Senate President say the executive wants him impeached. We have a public affairs analyst, Sam Ulisa, in the studio with us. Good morning and thank you for coming through.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you
nice
for
to see
having
you,
me.
Sam.
I know that there is more to legislative duties than sitting in plenary from Tuesday to Thursday every week. There is also the committee level where members and lawmakers carry out their oversight functions. Would you say that has been the case in the past 2 months? Do we have a situation where politics or legislative duty has been jettisoned for politics entirely?
Well, in the last 2 months, the polity has been overheated, seriously overheated. After the defection of the leadership of the Senate to the opposition party, the way the APC leadership took it, particularly the chairman of the party, the way he took it was so hot that one will begin to wonder that the National Assembly, or particularly the Senate in this case, is a game of figures. If you want to remove the leadership, a game of figures. And I think that is what the leadership saw. And they want the situation to be calm before they reconvene the Senate in particular. Though the clerk gave reason that because of the primaries, this is a year of politics. Towards the end of this year, early next year, there will be politicking all over the place. Some want to return, some want to go for other offices higher. So the primary is so important, but it should not be much more important than their primary function of legislative function and doing things normally. But I think the reason is that the politics overheated.
All right. The word impeachment has been used so often, and it seemed to have beclouded the call for the reconvening of the House. Everyone is saying, okay, call the House or the National Assembly should reconvene. And the concept of the hour, or the idea of impeachment has been very loud. Why is that?
That is exactly what I've just said. You see, when you are in a democratic setup, you don't behave in military way. If you remember that the National Assembly was shut down by bringing men of DSS, that shows the determination of the ruling party to remove him anyhow. And as a matter of fact, the chairman of the APC, Comrade Adams Oshiomhole, said it openly that he will be removed anyhow.
Yeah. But the DSS invading the House at the time, in fact, from activities or from things that play out earlier on or afterwards, afterwards that time, showed us that it wasn't the party that was behind it. The DSS DG was removed. The vice president said they don't have any. He didn't have approval to do that, and he was removed. So can we attribute that to the party or the ruling party to have done that?
I think it's the party. It's not everybody was not carried along, because
so why would it be?
Why should the DSS close down the National Assembly? And after that, you could hear the chairman of the APC spitting fire.
But wouldn't you think maybe the chairman was just taking advantage of the situation at the time?
Well, until full investigation, by now we're supposed to have the outcome of full investigation, because the ruling party promised us that they're going to carry out an investigation. Up till now, we are yet to hear.
Although we heard the DG at that time said that there were threats, the security threats, which made them shut down the National Assembly. Whether that was true or not is different.
When the National Assembly was in recess, how could there be threat? I'm not here to antagonize the former DG. But what I'm saying is that what is playing out now is like a game, a draft.
And it's a game that
you make your move. Your move will dictate my next move.
That's right.
And I thought that, and I'm of the opinion that because of those moves that time, very hot, very unconventional moves, so the Senate leadership smartly decided to close down not to resume. In fact, they wanted the Senate to reopen immediately
When
after
you
that
say
incident.
when you say a game, it reminds me that this is not just a game that came out of the moon. This is more like a recurrent decimal. In 2014, we saw lawmakers killing fence into the House of Representatives. It's almost the same scenario. As we speak now, both the Senate President, the Speaker of the House of Reps have left the party with which they assumed that office to the opposition. The more this happen, this might not be the end to this kind of situation. Do you foresee a situation where close to an election year, politicians are not allowed to leave the parties?
Well, there's no law or bill passed to law that forbids politicians not to leave party. The one that is even clear is that once there is a division in that party, but let me tell you, even when there is no division, the final decision still lies with the leadership of the bicameral legislature. Let me give you an example. In 2017, Gisalo, who was representative to Abuja Municipal, left PDP for APC. At the same time, Damisa, who represented Okene Ogori Magogo, left the PDP for the APC. The leadership of the PDP in the House of Representatives protested, and they wanted the two of them to vacate their seats. And they met all the conditions, because there was no division in PDP as at that time, because the wranglings between Ali Modu Sharif and Shekafi has been settled. So there was no division. But because Dogara, after they presented, Dogara is the Speaker of the House of Representatives, and he represented the interests of PDP. So he refused. He did not. He used his power to subdue that move. So the leadership of both houses are still very powerful, and they are playing politics. It is true, and that is so. So if there is a clear-cut law that you cannot leave your party once you enter the National Assembly, whether there is division or there is no division, that is understandable. Then two, there is no ideological, inclination in all the parties. I see both parties as twins. People move around.
Maybe even say
yes, people move around to take care of their interests. And again, in this case, in the 8th National Assembly, I blame the leadership of APC and Mr. President for being politically naive. From day one.
Would you call that naivety?
Yes.
In the past, we've seen where presidents had a lot of influence, wielding influence in the National Assembly. If a president comes and says, well, I want all the three arms of government to be independent, we don't want to interfere, so the National Assembly should handle its own issue. Is that not what it's supposed to be originally?
Well, that is on paper. But don't forget, we are in Nigeria. Our democracy have just started evolving.
But you need someone someday to say we have to start doing that.
When we get there,
aren't we here already?
No, we're not there. Our democracy
the question
is evolving.
Is, how has it played out for this administration?
Our democracy is evolving, and even if you look at this present government, if not for that move by the Senate leadership, there will have been no opposition, because the PDP was dead. He took the mantle of the opposition by having agreement on block with the PDP in the Senate, and taking along with him a few APC, getting a simple majority. He became the Senate president. He became the check. This time we can call it a vertical instead of a horizontal opposition. And that helped us a lot. Some people may not see it that way. It helped us a lot because it became the check and balances on the executive.
But when you say check and balances, just a minute, Mike. When you say check and balances, there are people who are of the opinion that that perhaps has even been the biggest blow dealt to this administration. The fact that for the first time in a long time, the National Assembly is not in consonance with the executive.
Even when they had majority.
Even when they had the majority at the House. The essence of having majority is to be able to pass some bills, execute some of your dreams.
Don't
as
forget,
the case may be.
Don't forget, most of these people, they cross over from PDP. They were in opposition. It was a time like this before election that they moved into APC so that they can win election. I mean, and that is what APC did not decipher properly. And it's happening again now. So because of that, you cannot say they are one. You see the hands of Adam Smith, the voice of Jacob, the hands of Esau, in everything. And I think that was the opposition we had. It's very unfortunate. So, and now that they are moving again, they are moving back. The ruling party is discounting that if they move, it doesn't affect them. But they move in to give you strength. But there is no party discipline. So what the parties should be looking at is to invoke some sections in their constitution that will implement, that will make it compulsory for members to subject themselves to party discipline.
All right. Now, when it comes to issues of carpet crossing, it's normal. It's a common thing in democracy. You can cross from any political party to any other one, as the case may be. The Constitution is also clear in that regard as to how it should take place. Now, a lot of politicians have taken advantage of the openings to say, okay, because there's a caveat as to when there is a problem or when there seems to be a division or a factionalization in your political party, you can decide to move from one political party to another. However, the area of going back to seek a fresh mandate is an area that no one has really explored. And this has happened. Political parties are crying foul, but no one is going to court to seek this interpretation as in to put an end to this issue.
Even if you go to court, it's our judiciary matured. You see, the problem we have in Africa, including Nigeria, is that we copied democracy from Western world. We are not practicing it like them. In the United States of America, it's to be relatively hard for somebody who is a Democrat to cross to a Republican Party. They will look at him that there's something wrong with it.
It has happened before.
You know, it's not as common as it is here. In Nigeria, every election, pre-election year, people move to protect their own personal interests.
How do we end this cycle, given its impact on our economy, its impact on the welfare of our people? We have, for instance, certain bills, the Electoral Act, as it were, has been sent back to the National Assembly like 3 times. The budget for INEC is still hanging somewhere. There are issues fundamental to our development as a country that is held at stake because of the seeming disconnection between these two arms of government.
Thank you very much. The Constitution has to be reviewed. And that is what people like us have been clamoring for. The Constitution we are implementing right now was written for us by the military. And if you look at the Constitution, it has military undertone. You know, in military situation, anything can happen. So we need to review our Constitution, the people's Constitution.
Who's going to do that?
Of course, the government of the day will make the move.
When you say the government of the day,
yes, we'll make the move. Instead of this career we had under Jonathan, when people were given 12 million to go and enjoy themselves, we should do proper constitutional review.
The reports of the 2014 confirmed.
It cannot, that review has no legality.
No, certainly it hasn't been adopted. So when it comes to the legality, certainly it can't be legal. But the point there is, does it not address some fundamental issues that affect this country? It could address
it, but it's confined to the dustbin. People, you must elect people, not on the basis of money. Those who want to serve Nigeria should come up, not money. We should do a sort of a local election to have the Constitutional Review Committee, not appointed members. So they will represent the people to evolve a new constitution that will take care of all this.
Okay, we must leave it here now. These are issues that Nigerians certainly are very interested in. Sambolisa, thank you so much
Thank you for
coming on the
having me.
program. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right.